this piece here. Yeah, the same motion that's on the flag on this is what is moving that unicycle back and forth. So a motor with an arm to a pivot point, and in this case, off of that motion, I put another set of bearings to help move the upright that's holding the bowling pins. But I think I brought this in just to kind of explain the, even for a piece this simple, like what all is still involved. I mean, obviously you have to have your object you want to put into motion, in this case the flags. You need a motor, which this has. You need a mount to hold the motor. You need a little arm that mounts to the shaft of the motor. It's drilled exactly so it fits the motor shaft. It has a little hole with a set screw so it's tightened on the shaft. You've got a connecting link between the two, the holder for the flags, also moved. You need a base, you need a switch, and there's also a little battery pack on the inside for the batteries, this whole thing. So even with, you know, a piece this simple, it still is a, still it's quite a bit of like, doing around. So the motion on this is basically the same motion as this, which is one of my own. Where basically an arm goes around, a connecting link, goes to this vertical part that's pivoted, and goes back and forth, like so. And this is the same motion that is inside of this piece here. Push that button. Other type of motion that's pretty popular here is this one, which is an arm that just goes around with a vertical piece that has a pivot in it. So as this goes around, it goes up and down, but also goes side to side, like so. And this is the motion that is both in the ladders over there. So again, the ladders just kind of go up and down and side to side. And of course, in this case, they're connected with a high wire that allows the globe to kind of just, through gravity, slide back and forth. And then again, the same motion is also in this piece, the peopler sheet, where again, the word "ba" goes up and down, side to side, same exact motion as what this thing is demonstrating. And also, the same thing actually moves the television up and down too. Same idea. A separate kind of a thing here, where this one goes up and down, side to side. This is a case where it just goes straight up and down. And the only thing I got that goes straight up and down is the little chair over the vortex there, which has a lot more going on. So the thing about that piece is that it's got I left the bottom pretty exposed because this technology, so-called technology, this is called a cam and follower. And the same thing is going on here, the exact same motion here as the things thing. You've got basically this guy here is a follower, this rides on cam stick. So it just goes round and round. But the chair here has got two cams, one on each side of the vertical piece. And they're also off-center, so they go around, they go up and down, but also as the different sides of the contact, they're in which direction. This is kind of it's so simple, but people have to do that. But anyway, that's exactly what's going on with this. And the only trick I had to do on this guy was if this thing keeps going, this thing will spin completely around. But I always want the chair to explore it. With little stops there, actually prevent how far it can go one way or the other. Anyways, so back to this, the piece called Fine Line. Again, lots of, pieces lead to another over the years, and some recurring like images or symbols or objects that kind of like show up my work quite a bit. Like, I guess in this show we have two pieces with globes, so globe is something. We've got a couple pieces with birds that also show up. And so anyway, so with this guy, I guess the whole idea the piece is just on a motor, it just goes around, it's very repetitive. But the whole idea is you have something that's actually kind of an reactions from an idea, then it becomes a little more radical, a little less predictable. And that's where the globe on the high wire came from, because it's only moving because those ladders go up and down, it changes the height of the wire from one side to the next. And it's even though it's fairly predictable, it still is not, nothing's attached. And so that's why it's, it's kind of fun. It's also kind of fun challenges to figure out, okay, well, I've got the globe, I made these little umbrellas, which was also fun, trick. And then it's just a matter of figuring out how much counterweight do I need here for this thing to stay vertical. And so that's just a matter of, I'll just, start, getting like nuts and bolts and whatever it takes to make this thing stay vertical. And then once I get it stay vertical, I get all the little nuts and bolts and put them on a little digital scale, figure out how much weight I need. And so then I know like what kind of weight it is.
And how do you make the umbrellas?
Those were made out of plexiglass. Again, I made a little Ford model, and so I figured out the sizes I needed, cut out these little shapes, like all individual, like whatever, like 8 or 10 sections, and then you tape them together, glue them up, same kind of thing, but then you finish off everything as well. And then the other thing about this piece was the wave motion here. These are actually like little auger bits that you get for planting, like a garden use that make a hole, like a plant hole. And so when I first, got the thing moving, they were all moving in the same direction. And so, but in the same direction, it was just like this kind of flow thing that happened, like so. But with the mechanism, I was having trouble with like some of those chains slipping. So I ended up having reversal chain, so I had the middle one go in the opposite direction. And when I did that, I like it so much better, because all of a sudden it became much more kind of visually interesting to have, in terms of what we're doing, in terms of the wave idea. A lot of my pieces also, I basically make a framework, and they're covered with this stuff called perforated steel. And it's kind of, I obviously use it in several pieces in this show, but I like using this material because it's sort of a barrier to keep like fingers out of here. It's also kind of a visual barrier to kind of really help sort of show really what's important about the piece. But yet it's still, with the holes, it's still kind of transparent.